sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver Common Sense Show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a live broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on live video. Can't get any easier than that, folks. So, a nice Friday. Can't tell if it's going to rain or not. All right, this next article is actually in response to a national review. A national review pretty much has been a paper or a website that is from a bygone era and really is no better than the Salon. The National Review has just turned into an absolute hate piece for all the accusations that the liberals level against Republicans. That is the National Review. That is where we get the stigma of all the negatives. When they write a piece and it's talking about how the white working class community deserves to die just because our views do not line up with theirs. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of these people that are supposed to be conservatives. They're supposed to be for the Constitution. But yet when someone has free thought or an opinion that differs from a minority, they start screaming, the name calling. They start pulling out liberal tactics. These people are no better, especially the writers for National Review, are no better than Obama and his supporters. I liken them to that. No, I do not think they're liberal. I think they're a dangerous wing of the conservative side. And this article goes on to, it's a rebuttal to the National Review's claim that white working class communities deserve to die. Normally, I would ignore a run-of-the-mill writer from a past its prime publication still living on the legacy of its founder. But Kevin Williamson attack on the white middle class is so beyond the pale that it cannot be ignored. Incredibly, the National Review writer proclaimed in this month's cover article that those who are being left behind through the global trade agenda and shipping jobs overseas are somehow responsible for not adapting to the new economical reality. Nobody did this to them. They failed themselves, writes Williamson. Williamson claims a moral high ground because in the D.C. Ivy Tower, complaints about failing economic policies like the 12-nation TPP trade pact are immoral because it perpetuates a lie that the white working class that finds itself attracted to Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has been victimized by outside forces. It gets better. It wasn't Beijing. It wasn't even Washington. As bad as Washington could be, it wasn't immigrants from Mexico, excessive or problematic as our current immigration levels are. It wasn't any of that. The truth about this dysfunctional, downscale community is that they deserve to die. Economically, they are negative assets. Morally, they are indefensible. I don't know about any of you. Williamson blames the very people who are undeniably the victims of a combination of big government, regulation, and disastrous trade policies that have traded manufacturing jobs for lower costs for those products. The writer abandons those who make the Republican Party. Those in this ivory tower, the establishment, the uppity, whatever the hell you want to fucking call these idiots. They are not the majority. They are a very minority, very big minority. But for some reason, they think they're above everybody else. And this writer is no better than a writer of the Salon. This is the shit that pisses me off about the Republican Party. He bends over and writes what's best for the establishment. In spite of his claim that on the trade front, Americans' manufacturing continues to expand and thrive, the reality is that since the year 2000, when permanent normal trade relationships with China went into effect, 5 million manufacturing jobs have been lost, according to data compiled by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What's more, the nation's gross domestic product growth has not exceeded 4% since that same year. In fact, GDP growth hasn't exceeded 3% since 2005, making the past decade the worst for economical growth since the Great Depression. This is not the fault of those who lived in those towns that depend on local manufacturing that was shipped overseas. It is the fault of the government policies that put into place the environment where closing local mills in North Carolina made more economical sense than keeping them open. It is the fault of the government policies that dictate that incandescent light bulbs could not be sold in the United States. So General Electric, which lobbied for the ban, could close the Virginia plant that made those light bulbs and replace it with one in China that makes the federal government mandated ones. Now, I've talked numerous times about the new light bulbs. Those fluorescent ones. They have mercury in them. So if they break in your house, good luck. It is the fault of the environmental regulatory policies that turned timber mill towns in the Northwest into ghost town, and are currently in the process of shuttling down coal mines and industries related to the coal business, shuttering the lifeblood of towns all over Appalachia. It is the fault of a corporate tax system that makes it undesirable to invest in building things here in America. The ugly truth that the self-righteous Williamsons misses is that the government policy has stranded millions of Americans economically, and pretending that if they just play Jed Clampett and load up their trucks and move to California, all will be well is either deliberately disingenuous or downright cruel. What's funny is this guy is writing in defense of Obama and his administration, his economical policies. This supposed conservative news website is defending Obama and his administration's economic policy. How's that for being conservative? How's that for being for the Constitution? How's that for being for the people? They would rather side with Obama than side with the people. They would rather side with Obama and push his lies so that the establishment can keep pushing these jackass piece of shit politicians onto us. This is what the Conservative Party has come down to. While the National Review has shown contempt for all things Trump, it is telling that their real contempt is for the voters who are choosing him. The same voters who Obama decried as clinging to their guns and religion in 2008. It is ironic that these very social issues that the GOP economic elite want to exercise from the platform has been one of the only reason for blue-collar votes to support the GOP. But that is a different story. I say it isn't. I am tired of this bullshit illusion from the GOP. These elite, they've gone way too far. We need to either take over the GOP or we need to walk away from the GOP. We need to walk away from the Republican Party. If they don't want to listen to us, we need to walk away. The matter at hand is whether the GOP establishment is finally going to embrace the dreams and aspirations of those who, as the Jimmy Stewart character George Bailey once said, do most of the living and dying in this town. Or are they going to cling to an outmoded agenda that assumes that what is good for GE is necessarily good for the American people? Please note that being good for GE is not necessarily bad for America, but it is also not necessarily good. What is good for America is a vibrant middle class with expanding opportunities where the people have hope that their children will have better lives than they had. That is the American dream and is being squashed like a bug under the weight of taxes, regulation, and our nation's trade policy. Williamson and the National Review can somehow attempt to make moral case for why countries like Vietnam and Malaysia should be given best on the card tariff rates to sell goods manufactured in virtually slave labor environment based upon the cost savings to American consumers, as is the case in the TPP. That argument is equivalent of justifying slavery in the United States because it produced cheap cotton for clothing manufacturers up north. What's the difference? The party of Lincoln, indeed. The only thing morally bankrupt here are those who continue to turn a blind eye to these evils and proclaim it is the market's invisible hand at work, and not the truth that it is a shady backroom political trade deals that are nothing more than crony capitalism writ large. The question that conservatives must answer in the ongoing debate over President Obama's proposal to rewrite the rules for world economic through the TPP is whether following General Electric's agenda to flatten the world's regulatory regime to produce efficiency in manufacturing and labor is in the interest of the United States. The only moral conservative position is to change the U.S. tax law and regulatory regimes that make it an advantage for job creators to expand operations here in America. The only moral conservative position is to end the regulator jihad against the U.S. job creators and inexpensive electricity generation, the lifeblood of rebuilding the manufacturing sector. And after dealing with taxes and regulations, then look at bilateral trade deals that make sense for America as a whole, lower tariffs, and address currency manipulation. That is a conservative solution that helps all of America thrive. And those who would crucify blue-collar workers on the corporate crony trade altar are no better than those who would sacrifice the same group to their green gods. They are both despicable. With things like National Review and their thinking, is there any wonder why the blue-collar silent majority is revolting against the elite of both political parties? Crap-spewing sites like National Review are one in a list of issues of why there is right now a political revolution going on in this country. Right now we are doing a nonviolent political revolution. What more do you expect? You keep pounding on us and pushing us down. We're going to push back sooner or later. And the National Review and that crap piece they call article is fueling the fires. You couldn't pay me enough to read their crap on a daily basis. As I said, I saw this article days ago. I did not want to touch it. I did not want to really give them much of a airtime. But I like the way this article talked about it. They are not out for what's best for America. They are out for what's best for the elite, the establishment. They have lost any credibility, any knowledge of what's going on in the real world. They sit in their little ivory towers and write their articles, thinking they know what's going on in the world, and much less what's going on in America. They don't know jack. God dang it. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense. Right here on HPPundit.com and RebootingLiberty.com. Don't forget SHRmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying half of the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show,
I don't want to be me. I don't want to be anymore.
just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Having some trouble with the mic. Boom. reading articles like that just pisses me off. These people give the GOP the bad name. Writers like these are what drive people away from the Republican Party. It almost seems like this election, the National Review, it's almost like Fox, and I know I don't know a definity, I should say, but it almost seems like they thought they had full control and could guide us in whatever direction they want. And I think that's the National Review. They thought they could guide us Republicans in whatever direction to pick the candidate that they want us to pick. And now they're throwing a little a tantrum because they didn't realize this many people were sick and tired of. I mean, sick and tired of it is just, it's an understatement. We're fed up. We're pissed off, yes. And I'm getting tired of the people. Well, it's not. Doing stuff pissed off and emotional. Blah, 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 blah. You're making fucking excuses and trying to downgrade and belittle what's going on. You're trying to get us to calm down and go your way through guilt. All you're doing is pissing us the fuck off even more. You're pushing us away even more. You're pushing us towards a person like Trump. You're not spinning us. Don't you get it that we are tired of listening to your bullshit? We are tired of listening to your lies? What part don't you get? And then you have the balls to send someone out, one of these delegates, and it's not, we do not elect. The people do not elect a nominee. Who the fuck does this man think he is? And you're supposed to be for the Constitution. And you have this delegate walking out there and telling the people, fuck you, you're not the ones that are in charge. You don't pick, we pick. Well, he went on a rambling of, why would they need delegates if they went off of the people's vote? You want to know why we need delegates? The same reason during the electoral vote. You can't get all these people to go in to Washington, D.C. to place their vote. So you have delegates that go and vote on behalf of the people. It seems to be there's people that are working and higher up, basically these delegates. And they don't know what the hell their purpose actually is. They actually think they are more powerful than they really are. The Republican Party has been walking around real smug lately, thinking it's better than the Democrat Party because they have the super delegates that answer to nobody and pick whoever they want. The Republican Party, Fox, have been bashing that. Talking about how un-American it is. And then you get a delegate for the Republican Party. I guess he felt he wasn't getting any goddamn press. So what does this idiot do? He goes out there and gives an interview and says the people do not elect the nominees. Then why? If you're so smart, why do they waste all of these billions of dollars to hold primary elections if we do not elect? I have not heard any candidate denounce that delegate. I have not heard the GOP denounce that delegate. I have not heard that he has been punished, removed. We need to make a stink. We need to start calling our senators on this one and asking them, what do they think? Is that the way they feel, that the people do not pick? And if they say yes, then it is time to remove those politicians from their position. That is not what this country is about. Delegates like that idiot need to be removed. The RNC, GOP, you down with me? Sorry, I had to throw that in there. For some reason, that just popped in my head. The OPP song. Right now, the Republican Party is really proving to people that they are no better and no different than the Democrat Party. You're both elite snobs that think you're better than everybody else. You're not. Tennessee bill would ban punishment for offensive microaggressions at university. A state legislature of Tennessee is considering a bill which will ensure universities and colleges are powerless to punish students on the basis of making mean or offensive language. The proposal, named the Tennessee Student Free Speech Protection Act, would ban institutions from creating systems that allow students to report incidents with the expectation of disciplinary action unless it involved a genuine threat or harassment. It would also prohibit schools from punishing students for microaggressions, which refer to incidents where people take offense to subtle or even misunderstood comments. The best kind of educational environment is where one where there is a lot of controversy, conversation about various issues, and we encourage students to speak up. State Representative Martin Daniel, a Knoxville Republican who introduced the bill to the College Fix. Told the College Fix. We want our students to be prepared for the real world, and those classes of speech that might be considered microaggressions just happen in the real world, he added. The move represents another crackback against the campus crybully and the tyranny of safe spaces zones where students are banned from making offensive comments and a university mechanism for censoring speech where they deem to be controversial. And as you want to talk about a slippery slope, what is offensive? Because what I think is offensive to what you think is offensive to what you think is offensive is a whole big difference. Everybody gets offended for different reasons. The law itself, which is to be discussed next Tuesday by the Education, Administration, and Planning Subcommittee, would prohibit schools from punishing, disciplining, or censuring students for the content of students' lawful speech by way of or through any of the faculty, employee, or organizations or institution. What makes me pissed off? We already have a law protecting that. And at university, and not knowing the basic freedom of speech is really sad. It is really sad that we have to put in other laws, repeating laws that are already there. It is freedom of speech. Authorities would therefore be mandated to protect students' rights to peacefully convene and exert freedom of speech to anything within the confines of the law. Campus leaders would also be prohibited from restricting free speech to designating zones or areas. If passed, the law would go into effect July 1st, 2016. I don't understand. Maybe I'm thick-headed. Maybe the blonde hair in me is coming out. But we already have a law, a Bill of Rights that says we have freedom of speech. Not freedom of speech unless I offend you, unless I upset you. If I want to get up and tell you to go fuck yourself, I am covered underneath the Bill of Rights. These colleges are getting nuts. They're supposed to be an institution of learning, institution of conversation. How are you supposed to learn and grow when you can't say anything? This is what happens when we let the hippies of the 60s, the radicals of the 60s, educate our kids. I'm getting tired of these safe zones. And you offended me. Yeah, I get offended every day. I get offended almost every single day. But you know what? I put on my big boy pants. I shrug it off and I keep on trucking. Why? Because it's their right to say offensive things. It is not my place to stop free speech. This country is going down and down and down. When we start chipping away at our Bill of Rights, chipping away at the foundation of this country, well, sooner or later, the building is going to crumble. Sooner or later, we're going to have a collapse. I don't know what the answer is. It's certainly not, let's vote in a Republican president. Yeah, that's not the answer for everything. Because who you think might fix the problem, I don't think will fix the problem. And you don't think my candidate will fix the problem, and you think yours will. That's the problem we are having right now. And I don't know the answer. I have no problem admitting that I don't know the answer. I am not the end-all, be-all. I never claimed to be. But we need to figure out a damn answer pretty quick. Well, I do know one thing. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show,
I don't want to be me. I don't want to be me anymore.
just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to join the live, if you want to be part of the show, I should say, go ahead and join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room button, join the conversation. Now, if it doesn't load up properly, sometimes there's an issue I've noticed pop up. Hit the refresh button. It should dump you right into my chat room. But if you also want to watch a live broadcast, go to Reaver.one. That's Reaver.one, and click on the live stream button. Live stream, live show. We make it so easy, even a liberal could do it. So Chris Christie spoke out, and this is something that I've talked about. I don't know if I come on air and talked about it, but I've been pretty adamant around my friends and family talking about it. It's kind of pissed me off. You got all these candidates sitting there yammering on. They don't know if they're going to back the nominee. But remember, the very same people who made us sign the loyalty pledge are advocating not to support the nominee. Chris Christie said, if the Republican Party takes away the nomination from Donald Trump, if he is the candidate with the most delegates entering the party's convention, it would be disenfranchise primary voters and cause people to become even more disillusioned. And now also, I find it funny because they've asked Donald Trump, and many, many, many people, way before Donald was asked, said that probably if they take it from Donald Trump, people would probably start rioting. It would cause a lot of problems. So Donald agreed with that statement and said, yes, that it probably cause riots. Oh, Donald Trump is trying to incite riots. That's how twisted these fuckers are. They twist his words all the time so that they can make headlines. And you know what that shows me? How dumb you are. When I hear people parroting it on Facebook and Twitter, it makes me laugh. Because that's how fucking dumb you are. When you put up something, Donald trying to incite riots. He said so himself. There's a big sign flashing above your head that I am a fucking moron. I am a fucking moron. He did not say to go riot. He said it might cause it. But people are too stupid to look up their information anymore. They claim liberals don't. Yeah. It's getting bad anymore with people and their stupidity. But these same people that forced Donald Trump to sign the loyalty pledge, because all the other candidates signed it. All the other candidates, first debate, before we got going with debate, Fox asked them to raise their hand for those candidates who swear to back the nominee, whoever it is. Remember, everybody raised but Trump? Then they made them all sign this loyalty pledge. And it was a big to-do about Trump not signing it. Trump signs it. And now, those same people that were involved, I don't know if I am going to support the nominee. You lying piece of fucking shit. That showed right there what you're made of. That showed exactly what you're made of. Yes, I know. Ted Cruz said, well, I signed it. I will keep my word. Yeah. How many people you're bringing on board to your campaign that are against Donald and refuse to back him if he's the nominee? So if you were so much for your word, you'd be saying, no, you're not holding up. I don't want anything a part of you. No, he's going, come on! Join the party. I'm anti-establishment. Oh, Bush family, come on! Join my... Oh, my God. I'm anti-establishment, but I got the Bushes working for me. I got the Bushes supporting me. I got Lindsey Graham. I got all these people behind me that are supporting me, that are establishment, but I'm anti-establishment. I've worked my whole life in government work. Ooh, 2 years I worked for a law firm. Yep. Other than that, I have been on the government welfare of politics. I can tell you I am the Pope. Does that make me the Pope? So just because he says he's anti-establishment does not make him anti-establishment. Well, he went to the Senate floor and he did so much. What the fuck did this man do? He was for TPP until the polls said otherwise. Then he was, I'm against it. Yes, I'm for pathway to citizenship. Oh, wait a minute, the polls say different. I'm against it. I stood on the floor and I filibustered. There was no vote taking place. She didn't stop anything. I filibustered. I spoke for 24 hours. You didn't do anything. It was a dog and pony show to make you look good. Shh, that's my secret. I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit already. And the GOP is bringing it upon itself. Especially when they made such a show out of it. Talk about drama. They made the hugest showing out of that loyalty pledge. And now they are not honoring it. Uh-oh. Trump may be the nominee. Holy shit, we didn't see that. Dumbasses. Christie went on, I think it would be very difficult if someone comes in close and has a clear plurality of the delegates to deny that person a nomination. I think it's a very dangerous thing for any party to engage in to disenfranchise people who are voting. Got a damn mosquito flying around. I think he just got me. Christie said the Republican Party made every candidate sign a loyalty pledge to support the eventual nominee, no matter who it is. Christie said the people who made the candidates sign the pledge are the same people advocating we shouldn't follow what the voters decide to do. I find that ironic and somewhat hypocritical. I find it interesting as it applies to Donald in particular. All that rage back in July and August, and I remember having to do this actually on TV, was to sign a pledge. I would support the eventual Republican nominee. Now I think that was done because at the time Donald was talking about, well, if it's not fair to me, I may run as a third party. So the National Party required every one of us, as a condition of being in the debate, to sign a loyalty pledge to whoever the nominee was going to be. And now the very same people who made us sign the loyalty pledge are now saying, well, maybe we shouldn't follow what the voters decide. Again, I find that ironic and somewhat hypocritical. Christie went on with, I think most people who go to the convention will be bound by their state's results on the first ballot. So if anybody, whether Donald Trump or Ted Cruz or whoever, could get up to 1237, they should be the nominee. I think it will be very difficult if someone comes in close and has a clear plurality to deny that person the nomination. I think it is a very dangerous thing for any party to engage. You know, I would like a do-over in New Hampshire, but I don't get one. And the fact is, for all of us who ran, I think that we would all be offended by the idea that either somebody who didn't run or who didn't compete and succeed would get the nomination. A little side note. The reason why we have that brokered convention and contested convention, because many, many, many moons ago, candidates didn't get all over the country. They weren't known to everybody. It's nothing like it is today. Where candidates have access to anybody and everybody. Back then, it was very often states would elect somebody that nobody else heard of. So they had to do these brokered conventions at times. That is not the case of what we have nowadays. It is a dinosaur rule that is no longer needed. I find it interesting, as it applies to Donald in particular, that all the rage back in July... Oh, yippee, sorry. So the National Party required every one of us, as a condition of being in the debate... Yippee. I'm just going through a transcript exactly what he says now. The fact is, we're public officials. We serve the public. And they get to elect who they want to nominate. So, I'm not saying that. Let's say anybody. Let's say Cruz takes it out of the person I've endorsed. Let's say Ted Cruz got to 1,100 delegates, and he had more than Donald Trump or anybody else, and he were close. I think it would be very hard, being 100 delegates or so short, to say, Ted Cruz, you can't be the nominee. I think it would be disenfranchise a lot of people. It would also really, I think, disillusion the people voting in this country. The people who determine elections are people who care enough to show up and vote. And whether you disagree or you agree with the results, you have an obligation in the democracy to adhere by what the people say. This brokered convention and all that is, as I said, a dinosaur bygone thing of the past. We should be looking at eliminating that. But, of course, the GOP will try, because right before the convention, the committee sits down and goes over the rules and can change them as they see fit. They can rig the game right before the game starts. Excuse me, not even, the game's already started. Imagine watching a football game, and you get to the fourth quarter, and 2-minute warnings about to sound. And the refs come together and sit down and come up with a new set of rules for the last 2 minutes of the game. How would that feel? There's people, I would love to see, it's great that we have this. Yeah, and if it was your candidate, you'd have a friggin' heart attack. You'd be screaming and bouncing off the walls so bad. So don't tell me it's a good thing. It's a good thing because your candidate is losing. Well, hopefully we get a candidate that gets there or above the 1237 mark, so we don't have to worry about it, because it's not going to end well. The Republican Party is self-destructing upon itself with all this. It is self-destructing, and nobody cares. Well, I should say nobody in the elite, the establishment, care. Because whether Hillary gets elected or Cruz, they know they're going to make their money. That's all they care about. They'll still make their money hand over fist. But they worry because if Donald gets in, that's going to mess with their money. And that's what this is all over. This has nothing to do with Donald and what he has to say. This is, they know Trump cannot be controlled. And they'll lose millions of dollars in lobby money. We have been clamoring for a candidate that can fix that can stop that. And so many buy into the bullshit of the Republican Party. I don't understand it. Well, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense, Jersey Joe, trying to make sense out of the senseless right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show,
I don't want to be me. I don't want to be me anymore.
just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
Welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense, making sense out of the senseless, or at least I'm trying to. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join in the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room button, join the conversation. If you want to watch the broadcast, go to Reaver.one. That is Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. We make it that easy. Even a liberal can do it. I am not establishment. But Lindsey Graham is going to go fundraise for me. Lindsey Graham's a fundraise for Ted Cruz presidential bid. In a sign of just how much the Republican presidential primary has turned the party on its head, Senator Lindsey Graham will headline a fundraiser on Monday in support of Ted Cruz. Graham told CNN that while the Texas senator is not his preferred candidate, he's the best alternative to Donald Trump. Let me tell you something. That right there is the biggest, hugest endorsement Lindsey Graham could ever give. Because if you got that piece of crap on your side, that piece of crap couldn't even get above 3% in his own state. His own state didn't want him running for president. That's how bad this piece of crap is. That is the endorsement that I would run from. Even if it's Ted Cruz, I would run so far away from Lindsey Graham. But he accepts it. He allows it. He has them work for him. That shows the true Ted Cruz. A draft of the invitation obtained first by CNN invites guests to honor and support a great friend of Israel and the Jewish people at a meet and greet event that will take place during the AIPAC Policy Conference in Washington next week. I think he is the best alternative to Donald Trump, Graham went on about Cruz. I'm going to help Cruz in any way I can. Graham, who ended his bid for the Republican nomination last December, originally threw his support behind Jeb Bush and campaigned for him in South Carolina. Did it do him any good? Nope. Did zero. Nada. I want to look at something real quick. I know. Shut up. I will. Yeah. Supposedly there were some new polls for candidates. There we go. New York City, Republican GOP. Trump is up by 52% in New York. Trump is at 64. Cruz is at 12. Kasich 1. Latest out of New York. What's funny is they told him he couldn't break the 50% mark. On Wednesday, Arizona has Trump up by 12. Let me just say, it's not looking that good. Besides the fact of Cruz backing the BLM and MoveOn.org, and he did it again in such outlandish fashion, he is supporting these groups and making excuses for them. That has pushed away a lot of support. You have to be pretty dumb to listen to the people that have maybe not bankrupted, but destroyed every single person that is aligned with the GOP this year has gone down in flames. So what does Ted Cruz do? I'm going to align with him, but I'll just keep telling everybody I am anti-establishment as I align myself with the fucking establishment. He aligns himself with BLM. We get this man in, we are done. Pack in the Republican Party, we are fucking done. It's bad enough we got pieces of crap like Graham. You put Cruz in office. Number one, he will not beat Hillary. First time he says something that's she don't like and she starts screaming, oh, you are a sexist, he will bend over and start apologizing for her, get on his hands and knees and keep apologizing. Just like McCain did, just like Romney did. The only time it seems that these Republicans have a set of balls on them is when they have the balls to fight in-house. Otherwise, they fall down and bend over for the Democrat Party. Cruz will fold to Hillary in 5 seconds flat. He will apologize to her. And even if by a miracle he gets elected, it will be no different than having Obama in office. He is far right. Nothing will get done in this government. It will stay frozen and locked up. Then the Democrats will be screaming again, look, there's proof. They are the obstructionists. We told you they were the obstructionists. And you'll be giving all the proof to them by putting that jackass in office. That's one of the main reasons I am against Ted Cruz. You cannot go from what we've dealt with the last 8 years to the opposite end and expect anything to get done. And whether you like it or not, the Democrats have had a better PR department than the Republicans. The Republicans try to take the high road and try to be honorable. The Democrats are a slimeball snake that will lie to their mother. Cruz will fold like a cheap suit. So it seems like these people have been conditioned so long to follow their masters. They're lemmings. These people in the Democrat Party and these people that are following the establishment are lemmings. And they don't care what they destroy. They will run themselves off a cliff and do it with a smile. Told you, and I'm sick of it. You have delegates coming out, speaking out against the people. What, my opinion, what we need to do, and it's not Donald Trump, those that right now pretty much that are following and supporting Donald Trump, and the Democrat supporters that are sick and tired of the bullshit socialist progressive crap that's going on, we ought to walk away from both parties, start a third party right there, because you're talking taking up independent votes. A quarter to half of the Democrat and a quarter to half out of the Republican. We walk away and start our own party. We'd be more powerful than the Democrats or the Republicans. Leave them with the far right on the Republicans and leave the Democrats with the far left socialist piece of crap. And we'd be winning elections constantly. but it would never happen. Because unfortunately, we would need a major money backer, and that money backer would want us to do favors, and it would defeat the whole purpose. I find it funny. Cruz is taking endorsement from one of the worst senators to endorse. Graham once compared nominating GOP frontrunner Donald Trump or Cruz to being shot or poisoned. He recently mocked Cruz's unpopularity amongst his colleagues, saying earlier this month, if you killed Ted Cruz on the floor of the Senate and the trial was in the Senate, nobody would convict you. You are accepting an endorsement from a man that said that about you. That's how low Cruz will go. You make those comments to me, go fuck off. I don't want your crap. I would rather lose than have a slime ball like that back at me, because that slime ball is going to come knocking for a favor. Graham went on, he's certainly not my preference, but he's a reliable Republican conservative, which I've had many differences with. John Kasich is the most viable general election candidate. I just don't see how John gets through the primaries. This is an outsider year, and he is an insider. He doesn't have the convictions to stand behind the man that he sees as the best man. He's trying to go behind a man and tag along and ride the coattails. When asked about his dramatic change in stance towards Cruz, Graham admitted that his Senate colleague is not well liked, but he has his doubts about Mr. Trump, and he doesn't think he's a Republican. He doesn't think he's conservative. He thinks his campaign is built on xenophobe, race baiting, and religious bigotry. I love how they're pushing all this negative that is based on false accusations by twisting. And there's people that are fucking dumb enough that fall for it. Why? The xenophobe? Why? Because he wants to stop immigration temporarily from Muslim countries until we can figure out a better background check system that every single candidate agreed was a great idea. Race baiting? Oh, I'm sorry. Building a wall is race baiting? So then, Graham, get off your fucking dead ass. Start screaming at Mexico and calling them racist. Call Obama a racist because he's helping fund a wall around 2 countries in Africa. Tell the Chinese they are racist. It is not racist. His comments were illegal immigrants coming into this country were the rapists and the murderers. There is more people than just Mexicans that are coming in illegally. We have all nation, races, size, creeds, religions that are coming in here illegally. You are coming in and breaking laws. You are not the best of the best. He thinks that he would be a disaster for the GOP. Yeah, because he would clean house, he would stop the bullshit, and he would stop all the buying of votes. And as I said, I find it funny for an anti-establish candidate. He has a shitload of ties to the establishment. Don't forget Goldman Sachs. He has very, very close ties with. Oh, and I forgot about that $1 million that they gave me. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Who forgets about $1 million? He has support from the Bush family. Neil Bush is now working on his campaign. And Graham fundraising. And his supporters still think he's anti-establishment. Yep, it's about that time. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense, trying to make sense out of the senseless, right here on hbpundit.com and shrmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying half was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show,
I don't want to be me. I don't want to be anymore.
just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. Trying to make sense out of the senseless. I'm trying to rush around, try to get things done. During the break, I had a delivery. I got a tree sent to me. During Arbor Day, in my area, they were giving away free trees. You had to apply for it, and it would send you a baby tree for you to plant and grow, because it's supposed to help with lowering electric bills and all that. So I got it in today. I'm happy. But the Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to join the party, go ahead. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. Have some fun. If you want to watch a live broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live show button. Live stream, live show, something like that. And, well, they'll take you right to it. Now, Connecticut has a bill that is kind of controversial. I could understand the basis of the bill, but I could see the abuse of the bill at the same time. So I understand it, and the premises I'm for, which may get me in trouble with the pro-gunners, but I could see the abuse and how it could be used to ban guns. So in that part, I'm against it. But they have a bill that would confiscate somebody's guns as soon as someone makes an allegation of abuse. Before it's proven or anything, the confiscation would begin. A new bill introduced in Connecticut changes state laws so that guns are confiscated from the subject of a protective order the moment the request for the order is filled, rather than waiting until the accusation has an opportunity to have his or her case heard by a judge. Now, as I said, I can understand both sides. Everybody has the right to due process. Everybody has that right. But I'm also thinking back to New Jersey and how long it took that woman to get the permits, and she ended up being killed by her boyfriend. There is some cases that show where this would do good. But being politicians, I could see where the law would be used and expanded beyond what it was meant to be. Sort of like Megan's Law. Megan's Law was supposed to stop predators who are released from jail and hiding in the public. Well, now it's been expanded so goddamn bad and abuse of what it was. You know, if I'm out hiking and I stop to take a leak in the woods and I don't notice there's a little kid right there nearby and the parent sees me, the kid doesn't even have to see anything. The parent, I can get arrested and then I become a sex offender. From what? It wasn't like an intentional, I'm trying to flash kid, get off on it. This has never happened to me, so no. A 17, 18-year-old in high school is dating a 15, 16-year-old, which is very common in high school. Now that person can be charged if there's sex involved in certain states, and then he has to register as a sex offender. That is a unattended abuse of these laws. And I can understand how people are against this confiscation of guns before allegation of abuse are proven. Because it puts the due burden on the person being accused. And a lot of times, yes, there is false accusation. Men and women make those charges just out of being vendetta. But on the other hand, there is times when this law, where this law would do some good, where it might stop the person that has guns, where there's a bad breakup and where something horrible may happen. I can see both sides of this. I can see the abuse of it. I'm on the fence on it. I don't know. I've always said I will give honest answers, and I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. I am for guns. But some of these people, they'll abuse the law, and without something like that, people get their lives taken. And I'm split. I'm honestly split on it. But as soon as a person files, rather than waiting until the accusation has an opportunity to have his or her case heard by a judge, the measure is supported by State Senator Mia Flexer, a Democrat, who says the minute a woman comes forward and asks for a temporary restraining order is the most dangerous moment of her life. That's a little sexist. It does go back and forth. It's not just women that are in danger. But that's a little bit sexist of that state senator, saying that. And I'm offended. I want a safe zone. Yeah. That is a microaggression. Yeah. No, it's just a stupid comment. Opponents of the measure point out that the request for a protective order on an accusation of criminal behavior and the issuance of said order in light of a judge's decision are two different things. They argue that it completely flips the scales, forcing gun owners into a position of being guilty until proven innocent. Moreover, according to the Hartford Courant, bill opponents want to know if Flexer has thought about how long confiscated guns would be held by the state in a situation where the judge refuses to issue an order. An example, in a case where an order is requested on the first day of the month and guns are confiscated, what happens to those guns if the judge refuses the order request 2 weeks later? Representative Rob Sampson observed, "You're innocent until proven guilty. That's how I was brought up. This bill before us takes that away." And again, I could see both sides, and I understand that. You have a right to a trial. You have a right before you're deemed guilty. But on the other hand, I can see where this bill might have some use. Sorry. It's... I'm split because I could see where somebody's life would be in danger, and I could see where it's not constitutionally correct. And the new one, and we're going to get off that subject because I'm speechless on it. I don't have the answer for that one. But this next one is, Cruz is talking, no surprise, Trump is trying to stir up riots. He's throwing accusations as he does. He is a trained liar. Cruz is a trained liar. He is a lawyer. He knows that if he throws in a false accusation, even if it's disproven, it still throws doubt into the minds, and that's all this man is doing. He's throwing mud and hoping just a little bit will stick, enough to dirty the water. And he's challenged him to debates in D.C. again. Now, the man has had how many chances to debate? And all Cruz wanted to do during those debates was take cheap shots, make outright lie about Trump. So why in the hell should Trump give Cruz a stage to attack him even more? Yes, the person that's losing will be wanting every opportunity like that. There's nothing to gain for Trump. We've had more than enough goddamn debates. He squandered his chances to debate stuff as opposed to throw mud. So, Cruz, I wouldn't give you the time of day. Politics or no politics. Yes, I know. His supporters are crying for it because you're backing a loser. And I would say the same thing if Trump was behind and mandating. I would be bitching about Trump doing it, whether I supported him or not. And it's shit that Cruz sits there and throws these accusations out there. He threw the accusations about Trump hiring illegal immigrants. When it was proven he did not, he hired a contractor, and that contractor, unfortunately, brought in illegal immigrants at the time. Just as Cruz's campaign manager has done the same exact thing. His campaign manager for Cruz has gotten in trouble for hiring illegal immigrants. So where the hell does Cruz get off slinging that mud? Oh, that's right. He is special. He is a politician. He can do whatever the hell he wants. I forgot. He's a different class than us. Remember, people, when Cruz talks, he is a lawyer. He is a trained liar. He is trained to throw in doubt. Truth or not, doubt. That's all it takes. A little doubt. And he knows it, and that's what he's using. I am sick and tired of junior fucking senators with a law degree destroying this country, and that's what Cruz is. I remember back in a time, 8 years ago, we were screaming about a junior senator with a law background and how that person didn't have the qualifications. We should not elect that person. And if you remember, he too said he was a constitutional attorney. So many similarities. Cruz has admitted during his Senate run for Senate he had used Obama's election playbook and how it worked, how it was useful. And he's doing it again. He is using Obama's strategies. And everybody clamors for it. Talk about hypocrites. That is disgusting. And that's one of the reasons I stopped supporting Cruz. I started looking and seeing what he was doing. And I remember bitching and moaning about Obama doing it. And now all these so-called conservatives cheered on. Hypocrites. Every one of you. I can't understand. And if you're watching my live stream, those people in the picture behind me are turning over in their grave as what we have become. And for those that don't see, I have a picture of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and our forefathers. And they are turning over in our graves. Cruz is the Republican version of Obama. Now, I'm not saying they have the same policy. No. But there's a lot of common denominator between the two. And it won't turn out any better under Cruz just because he's a conservative than it has for the past 7+ years under Obama. Hate me for what I say, I don't care. But even the way he's trying to get the debate, he's siding with BLM and MoveOn.org. The only ones stirring up riots are the Democrats. Are the ones that are supporting the BLM and the MoveOn.org. And I am starting to wonder about Cruz now. I am really wondering about Cruz and his allegiance. Maybe instead of worrying about Donald's run for office, maybe he should look at his own campaign and maybe he would stop fucking losing and start winning. But no, he wants to look and throw mud at other people instead of his own campaign. And everybody jumps all over me. Yes, at one time, I was a Cruz supporter. But I saw the bullshit that was going on, and I will not stand by and accept what he is doing as I bitch for 8 years now. I have bitched about Obama doing it. And I'm not going to accept it just because he is a conservative. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense, trying to make sense out of the senseless. Right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka's stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show,
I don't want to be me. I don't want to be anymore.
just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I am making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a live broadcast, just go to Reaver.1. Click on the live stream button. All right, Newt Gingrich. He's been actually in the news lately, and I honestly believe why he is coming out is he's not trying to support Cruz or support Ted or support Kasich, but what he sees going on to the party and the self-destruction that is going on within the party, and that has him concerned. I think that has a lot of people concerned. But he came out, and he is not sympathetic to Eric Erickson and that dumbass's idea. The third-party overture. And Gingrich even comes out and says would be functionally supporting Hillary Clinton. And so many of these so-called conservatives have no problem with that. As everybody has said, that Hillary Clinton would be a third term of Obama, and they have no problem with it, these so-called conservatives. Eric Erickson is a joke. And yesterday on Fox News, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich said conservative boggler Eric Erickson, who has recently said the Republicans should prepare for a third-party alternative if Donald Trump wins the party's 2016 presidential nomination, is functionally supporting Hillary Clinton. Eric Erickson came up with every goddamn bullshit reason under the sun why it wouldn't be. And anybody that bought into that, I think you got a little bit of a weak mind there. Because these are the same people that cried about Donald Trump possibly running the third party and how it would split the vote and give it to Hillary Clinton. Now they are making excuses on how they can do it. Hypocrisy at work. When asked about a potential conservative candidate running as a third party, Gingrich said, "Have fun. It's an amusing parlor game. It has no meaning in the real world. But if it makes you feel better, I draw a distinction. I mean, John Boehner is genuinely fond of Paul Ryan, as I am. And Boehner, frankly, I think, would rather see somebody other than Cruz, who caused him a lot of pain, or Trump, who I'm sure he sees as a very strange outsider for a traditional political standpoint. I'm not sympathetic at all to Eric Erickson of the world. If they want to form the Let's Elect Hillary Clinton Club, fine. But they ought to be honest about it. Any efforts to help anybody but the Republican nominee helps Hillary Clinton. And if you think giving Hillary Clinton the Supreme Court, having Hillary Clinton run our foreign policies, having Hillary Clinton support the unions to continue ruining our children in school, if you think that's acceptable, do it. Eric Erickson's not playing a risk-free game. It's not like there is some pure middle way. If he does not support the Republican nominee, he is functionally supporting Hillary Clinton in the general election. And I'm getting tired of this crying that if your candidate does not get in, you're not going to vote. Fine, that's your right. Don't bitch and moan. Because you're part of the problem that is going on in this country. We're going to hell in a handbasket, and then Republicans and Democrats are driving the bus. Eight years ago, we started down a downward trajectory of this country. And I can understand everybody. They say that only Donald Trump supporters are angry. No, so are the Cruz. Everybody's upset. Anybody with an honest set of eyes that sees what's going on in the world, in this country, is upset. And I understand the tensions because everybody wants to fix this problem. Everybody cares about this country. But we are heading down a path that's not good. We are picking up steam, rolling down that hill. I don't know if we can stop that bus. Yeah, Obama may get off the bus, jump out, and roll to safety. But that bus is still rolling right now. And Republicans fighting Republicans. Republicans talking about third-party runs is nothing but a trade wind pushing on the back of the bus to go faster. Pollster Frank Luntz, whatever the fat fuck's name is, melts down after former client Rubio drops out. Frank suffered a full-scale meltdown when his former client, Senator Marco Rubio, departed the Republican race after losing his home state's primary to Donald Trump. Frank came after Breitbart's news on Twitter with a series of insults less than 24 hours after Rubio dropped out of the race for president. Trump beat Rubio 45.7% to 27% in a winner-take-all primary. Breitbart News recently published a story that quoted the Tampa Bay Times confirming our reporting that Luntz has taken hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments to help shape Rubio's political career. Breitbart News ran a series of reports on Luntz's financial history with Rubio in the state of Florida, prompting Luntz to call this reporter an asshole and say that Breitbart News is so far up Trump's ass. But now a major newspaper in Florida confirms Luntz's payment, which were substantially. The Tampa Bay Times reports in a feature on Rubio's political rise. He is best known for a book called 100 Innovative Ideas for Florida's Future, filled with proposals from upgrades to state building codes to an increase in educational tax credit for companies. The concepts were drawn from lawmakers and people across the state who attended idea raisers. The book was dreamed up by Rich Cocarn, a Rubio staffer who will become speaker next year. But Rubio was the face of the project and reaped the attention. The book is copyrighted in his name. Rubio traveled the state to promote the book, making contacts he would rely on later for a Senate run. He got messaging and polling help from Frank, now a well-known Fox News figure. Gingrich hailed Rubio as a visionary. Bush wrote a glowing foreword. Allies and enemies saw the book as an expensive self-promotion draining party resources and staff time. Luntz was paid more than $340,000. The scandals raised serious question about Luntz's impartiality in conducting his Fox News post-debate focus groups, especially in the light of the ridiculously pro-Rubio focus groups that he conducted right before the Iowa caucus. National Journal picked up the story in a feature entitled, Luntz Plays Favorite with Marco Rubio. Luntz admitted to his conflict of interest with Rubio in an interview in which he also dished out profane insults to this reporter. At a Fox News debate in Detroit, Luntz spotted this reporter near the stairwell of the press room and became visibly flustered, angrily muttering about Trump and instructing his journalist friends to walk with him away from my earshot. When Luntz spoke at the University of Pennsylvania in 2013, a student leaked video of Mother Jones of Luntz trash-talking Limbaugh and Levine to defend Rubio on amnesty. Furious at the student for leaking the video, Luntz vowed to never again speak at the school. Luntz, a University of Pennsylvania alumni, also discontinued a scholarship at the school in his father's name, and it sounds more and more like a kid throwing a tantrum. An elitist throwing a tantrum because they did not get their way. It sounds more and more like what's going on in the larger grand scale. These elitists, these establishment, they're throwing temper tantrums because people are not blindly following anymore. And this is what I find funny. They will scream at Donald Trump for tomorrow Saturday, he is holding one of his rallies. Pro-illegal immigration activists plan rallies. Other groups to join in. It will not be peaceful, and they will blame Trump for this, even though it's being voiced ahead of time what will be going on. All these ass-kissing supposed conservatives will blame Trump. Watch, mark my word. This will not be a peaceful protest, I'm making a prediction. Because you won't just have the pro-illegal immigration, which by itself is pissing me off. I have no problem with immigration. I have no problem with people coming to this country. Do it by the law. The immigration laws are not broken. They're not being followed. They're not being enforced. So if you are here illegally, you broke our laws. It just boggles my mind. Yes, they did it out of love. So is the person that goes and robs a bank. So is the person who robs a convenience store. So is the man that is selling crack on the corner. He is doing nothing but trying to make his life better. He is trying to make money at any cost. That does not justify that he broke the law. And neither of these people coming into the country illegal, it does not justify that they broke the law. If I break the law, I have to pay the consequences. They broke the law. They need to pay the consequences. And rewarding them with amnesty is not paying the price for breaking the law. And a little advice for these protest groups. You did it in Chicago. You did it, in Illinois. You made a big to-do. You gave Trump free press. And he went on to win Illinois' primary. So go ahead. Protest. Have at it. Have a great weekend. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.